Wow. What a great day it is today. A great day for so many reasons. A great day because we get to gather here right now, and we get to celebrate the life that we are. It's interesting because my talk title for tonight is This Little Piggy. And while I was thinking about what that talk title meant and how I was going to really make a connection, it was easy. It was easy because I have that kind of imagination that Spirit has. That joyous imagination, that imagination that can make things just kind of connect and weave. And what I can truly say is that there were a lot of people praying today. Lots of folks praying. And prayer works. And those who believe in God, those who believe in Spirit and Source, believe in some type of prayer. And the deal is this, is that for as many people as we are, there are different styles of prayer. And in every religion, has a form of prayer or a way that folks pray or a formula for their prayers. And so I thought, wow, this is excellent because it reminds me of this little piggy that is prayer. Because we all have our different ways of praying and we all do things in a different way. So we all, maybe not all of us, but most of us know that this little piggy went to the market and we do it on our toes. At least it was done to me on my toes, right? So imagine that the piggies are really modes of prayer, styles of prayer, different religions, different ways that people want to pray. But it's this little piggy went to the market. It's kind of like this little piggy went to church, right? To pray. This piggy went to the market to pray. This little piggy stayed home. Because, we don't necessarily have to go to the market or the church to pray. This little piggy had roast beef. Carnivore. Because, some piggies are vegetarian, so this little piggy had none. In many religions and many faiths, we don't eat meat. It's just not the culture. But that last little piggy goes wee, 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 all the way home. So we can see in the styles of each pig their cosmology maybe, their way of praying, their way of being, their way of living their prayer. Whether it's through our food, whether it's through being vegetarian, whether it's through going to a marketplace, whether it's going door to door preaching the gospel of the kingdom, whether it's simply being at home, in the closet, praying. Every person gets to have an intimate relationship with God through prayer. Now here, in this new thought philosophy, this science of mind philosophy, we know that for us, prayer is not necessarily beseeching or convincing an external entity to see things our way and grant us our wish. However, for those who believe that there is an external entity who we need to beseech and pray, prayer works. How many times have we been there in that spot? Oh God, if you get me out of this one, I swear, I promise I'll do such and such. Or how many of you have lost things and said the prayer to St. Anthony, St. Anthony, St. Anthony, please come around. I've lost my watch and it must be found. And if I find it, I'll jump up and down. We all have playful and serious and some superstitious ways or ideas around prayer. And really, prayer is an opportunity for us to have an intimate relationship with that energetic that has created us in its image, in its likeness, in its fullness, in freedom and in joy, in wholeness. It's having that relationship. It's having that, what I like the word intimacy. And I'm not talking about sex here. I'm talking about intimacy. Because in intimacy, it's like intimacy, right? Intimacy. If you're from New York, intimacy. You know what I'm saying, right? There's this intimacy that comes when we engage in prayer, when we engage in a time that is dedicated to knowing our life as the life that God is. Now, when I say that, for some people, it's kind of like, yo, hold on, wait a second. You're saying that my life is that life that God is? Absolutely. For in the beginning, or what we call or label the beginning, there was God. And God, through some act upon itself, through some act of involution, created everything. I say this all the time. It wasn't like there was God. I think I'm going to create something. Let me go to the junkyard over here and put something together. Or the, garage, and whip up something. No, there was only ever God. And through some act upon itself, it created everything. So everything has that essence. Everything is God made manifest. Everything is the way God expresses. You are the way God expresses as humanity. The chair is the way God is expressing as a chair. The tree is the way God expresses in nature as a tree, and the flowers and our animals, our pets, our beloved ones. That is God expressing beautifully and magnificently as all things. Otherwise, we're going to believe that there's some otherness when we're only talking about the one. The one. However, the approach to the one comes in many forms. Going to the market, staying home, eating roast beef, having none, going wee all the way home. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person who likes the wee part. Kind of like the merrily, 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 right? I'm the one who wants to pray in that wee, yay celebration, because for me, what I have come to understand is that the more and more I recognize that there's this one power, one presence, one life, and that it is living in, through, and as me, that's a lot to wee about. That's a lot of merrily, merrily, merrily. Because when I begin to grasp and understand that there's one mind, one universal mind, that mind is that mind that God is, and that mind lives in me. That which is activated in you that lets you know that you are you, that part of you that is self-aware, that part of you that says, oh, I'm aware of myself. Look, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm looking at my reflection. It cannot be separate minds, because if we all had separate minds, we would not be aware of each other, because I'd be off in my little mind over here, minding my own business. You'd be doing the same. But no, we're using the same mind. The same mind. That's why we're conscious of one another, conscious of the oneness. We're only using the one. God is living in, through, and as each and every one of us, and we are activated through this one mind, this one power, this one presence. And sometimes it baffles me to know that this is my truth. Because sometimes I get caught up in this idea that I'm only human, or that I'm lacking something, or that I'm in fear, or I spend time worrying, or being inferior. Ernest Holmes tells us that there are several ways to begin to release all of those ideas and really know our freedom. He talks about stop thinking negatively. One of the ways that I practice that is by engaging in prayer. See, what prayer is not, again, beseeching or asking a power outside of myself, but prayer is taking a moment and taking some time to recognize and kind of clean up the contents of my consciousness. It's kind of doing like some internalized housekeeping. It's recognizing where I have these negative thoughts, these doubts, these fears, these feelings of insecurity, these feelings of poverty, lack, and limitation, and it's correcting them. It's kind of going, oh, no, let me dust that off. The content of my consciousness, let me get that out of my consciousness. Let me get that out of my awareness, for that is not the truth of who I am. That is only a small portion of what I am. I am that which God is. I am that which thou art that which I am. Even in scriptures, for those of you who fancy scripture, it says, if you abide in me and my word abides in you, then you ask and it is given. And really what all that's saying is, you abide in me. It's a statement. We are having our livingness, our beingness in God. And because we are having our beingness in God, which is everything, that word abides in us. But we don't know what that word is unless we shut up for a little while and allow ourselves to know that word. Unless we quiet down, hush it, and allow that word to speak to us. If there were never any sacred text whatsoever, truly, we would not need them. For truly the sacred text is already within you. The word is abiding in you. That word abide means to live there, to have your existence in it. So as I am having my existence in God and the word is having its existence in me, I need to speak the word. I need to speak it because it is already who and what I am. But so many times we want to abide in something else. We want to abide in the drama. We want to abide in the chaos. We want to abide in the news. Or another, we find comfort in abiding in lack and limitation. And kind of like the pigs, if you will, sometimes when we abide in the minutia of the day, it's kind of like bathing in it. Yes, this is who I am. No. When we allow the word to abide in us, to exist in us, to become alive in, through, and as us, we get to recognize who we are, where we come from, what our purpose is, what we're really all about, how we're really about love, how we're really about expressing to such a degree that other people can't help but see the light shining in, through, and as us, and they go, what's up? What's happening? I recognize there's something different about you. We no longer abide in mediocrity. We no longer abide playing small. But we simply allow ourselves to live our full and complete lives. Because we abide in the word, because we abide in prayer, because we are consciously making the effort to know, to release worry. Worry is such a waste of time. How many people worry around here? Oh, stop it. Stop that. You know, worry is, my mom, I love my mom dearly. She's amazing. She stopped. She learned. I mean, you know, she's Jehovah's Witness. And so some of my science of mind philosophy has been rubbing off on her because, you know, she sent me this pillow once upon a time. It says, call your mother. She worries. You know, and I'm thinking, like, what am I going to do with this pillow? Like, I can't really put it there. Like, you know, I can't really have it around in the house. I might pick up on that. You know, I might be influenced by that. It might rub off on me or something. you know? So I say, Mom, worrying is a waste of time. Because worrying is either being in the past or being in the future. And so when we're in the past or we're in the future, we're not in the present. That's why they call it the present, because it's a gift to really be like right here, right now. To really be in this moment instead of what we're going to do when we leave here or how the traffic was before we got here, so we got here late. Who cares? You're here right now. The focus is right now. This minute is right now. And worry, doubt, fear are all, like Michael Beckwith calls them, weapons of mass distraction. Because they simply distract us from the truth of who we are. They simply take us away, on a whole nother path, when what we get to focus on is the truth of who we are, right? So worrying does not pay dividends. You can't really put worrying in your spiritual bank account. What you can put in your spiritual bank account are your prayers and meditations and your time in contemplation, your time using your affirmations, your time in fellowship, your time in sacred service, your gifts and your tithes and your offerings, that which you've consciously dedicated for good, for the upliftment of humanity, for the upliftment of your own life and the lives of others. You see, it's already been given. It's already been given because right where we are, God is. So we're not lacking in anything. There's nothing lacking. All we need to do is align ourselves consciously, because we're really never out of alignment because God is right where I am. But our consciousness, we must align our consciousness and our thought to the knowing of this truth, the knowing that right where I am, God is. So that which is true about God is true about me. The love, the joy, the peace, the abundance that God is, I am. And I get to experience it to the degree in which I embrace it, to the degree in which I open up to receive it, to know it, to experience it as my own life. And that happens through our prayer work. Our prayer work, and all prayer works, because there are some universal principles that when these universal principles, when we engage in prayer, it's activated in such a way that we're simply doing the housekeeping that I talked about. Because we're not trying to convince God to be God, and we're not trying to convince God to give us something we don't deserve or some special dispensation or anything. God is already right here, and the honest of God is already right here. So what I get to do is, through my prayer work, recognize the one power, the one presence, the one life that is God. Recognize that it is my life right now. Not that it's going to be my life. Not that when I do better, that it is going to be my life. Or that it might have been when I was a kid, but now that I'm an adult and jaded, that it's no longer my life. No, God is living me right now in this moment. So there's one power, one presence. It is living me right now. Therefore, that which is true of God is true about me. So I can simply begin to state that truth and attach my name to it. But it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm abundant. Without that universal principle of fire and that energetic, it must be accompanied with the emotion. It must be accompanied with the feeling. You have to know it, kind of have that visceral feeling. It's got to be in combination. Because it's true. I mean, people say, our thoughts are things. But if that were true, this room would be filled with a whole lot of stuff, because I can think oranges, peaches, piggies, sailboats. And, if that were true, where are they? They're not here. But it's those thoughts that are accompanied with that feeling. That's why becoming aware of our anger and the words that we use in anger or when we're frustrated or disappointed or saddened, sometimes we begin to say things from that state of beingness, from that state of consciousness, and what we get is more of it. You know, when you wake up late, and instead of saying, oh, look what time it is, I better get going if I'm going to get there, you go, daggone it, I'm late again. This is always happening. I'm so dumb. What happened to the alarm? This is crazy. I can't even shower now. And what happens is that we're just, because of the energetic with that thought and with the words saying it aloud, it just continues to grow and grow, because that combination, the universal principles, that combination, that's a prayer. In a sense, that's a prayer. And I don't know about you, but I'd like to merrily, 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 merrily go down the stream, or like to go wee all the way home. I don't want to necessarily be in the muck of life and continue to create from that space. So prayer helps to clean out the content of our consciousness, the negativity, the doubt, the fear, the worry, the lack, the limitation, and begins to anchor that which is true. So when we're simply stating that which is true of God, we're attaching our name to it. We're attaching our name to it. We're having that feeling tone. I mean, if we begin even with just a sense of gratitude, a sense of thanksgiving, of thankfulness, of appreciation for what we have in life and what we are in life, you begin to clear away some of that negativity and some of that doubt and fear that we have. That's also prayer. I remember a friend of mine, you know, when I was pretty young, I'm still pretty young, but that reminds me of being a kid, right? And being like 6 or 7 years old and going, when I was younger, when you were 4, right? So that's what that reminds me of when I say it, because I feel so young all the time. But I remember being kind of like this snotty-nosed, entitled kid, you know, teenager and young adult, like the world owed me something. You know, and I remember, like, how come this ain't happening for me? And how come this? And how come that? And, you know, look at so-and-so over there. They're not doing half as much as I'm doing, and they're getting more, and da-da-da. It's like, whoa. I remember a dear friend saying, whoa, stop. Have a seat. Begin to get grateful. Write a gratitude list. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to write a gratitude list. Just start with your feet. Sit down. Take your shoes off. Look, you got 10 toes. This little piggy went to the market. No. Start right there. Oh, becoming grateful. You know, I got 10 toes. And they work. 2 feet. And they get me places that are attached to my ankles that are working. And beginning to just simply give thanks. Becoming in tune and getting grateful with that within me. You know, I hadn't even gotten into the organs and the functions and the system that's in place. I hadn't even I couldn't even begin to think about having the consciousness of, whoa, I'm breathing, there's blood circulating through my system, my organs are assimilating and eliminating, my hair's growing, all without me thinking about it or having anything to do about it. I couldn't even get to that place yet, but today I understand. Today I get grateful that I don't even have to think about that. That there is life that is animating me, and that life is God, And I begin there. I had to start somewhere. If we're building a ladder of success for ourselves, we get to start at whatever rung we're at. Don't worry about where so-and-so is at and where you're at. Just focus on where you are. And begin within. Begin with where you are. You see, because this little piggy went to the market and this little piggy stayed home, we all have our work to do so that we can be the piggy that goes wee, 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 wee all the way home. That we can begin to find the joy in everyday life, even when things don't go a particular way that we think that they should. We can still find joy. We can still find love, peace, abundance, prosperity. We can still find harmony in these areas in our life that are so abundantly filled with the wholeness of who we are. You see, if we were to be like a child and really recognize the power and the presence that is our life, and recognize that it is who and what we are, if we were to just be rid of all the doubt and fear and all the stuff that just gets attached to us, we can really begin to live our authentic life. But it's up to you, like the book of the month by Ernest Holmes. It's up to you. I can tell you about it. It's like getting on one of the rides at Knott's Berry Farm or Magic Mountain or Busch Gardens or any amusement park ride. I can tell you how fun it is. But unless you get on it yourself and experience it for yourself, you're not going to know it firsthand. So it's up to you to engage in your prayer practice. It's up to you to develop that prayer practice to such an extent that your prayer becomes a meditation, and that when that meditation transmutes the negativity or the doubt and the fear into the truth, that we begin to then live from that place. We have indeed then peeled the onion, and our true self is now here. Our true self is now exposed. Our true self is now what people see instead of someone behind a mask. You're made differently because that's just the way God rolls. That's just the way God likes to show up. So don't try to be anybody else or do anything else or, try to act like so-and-so and so-and-so. Be you. Be you. Engage in your prayer and meditation. Go to the market and pray. Eat roast beef and pray. Or have none and pray. Whatever it is up to you to engage in the practice that's going to allow you to live your greatest life. So we're going to move into meditation now. And as you prepare your heart space for your meditation time, for our quiet time, use this time any way you want. It's just a great time in the silence that we have in community to be able to just anchor in that which we've heard in the reading, in the prayer, maybe in the songs. Take a moment to just relax and know that right where we are, God is. For it is written, prayer is essential to the conscious well-being of the soul. So whether we use this time now to pray in our own way, to know God as our life, to meditate upon it, or to simply be in the collective energetic that is so strong. Allow yourself to know that it is up to you. And that in this moment, we simply surrender, clearing away any ideas of lack and limitation and worry, doubt, and fear, and anchoring in this truth. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, God is.